What is going on, Patriots fans? This is Jace back with another edition of the Patriots Drive podcast. It is officially draft week. Happy draft week, guys. Today, I got my final mock draft coming to you. I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to actually have it live so you guys can see this. I'm going to talk through my process. This is going to be more of what I think will happen for the Patriots. Try to include some trades, see what we can figure out. But if you guys are excited for the draft week, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. We will be going live on draft night for the Patriots. First round pick, and then we'll stay live throughout the whole one, and then obviously for day 2 also. So hopefully you guys are ready for that, because we have something special, new graphics, special stuff that will make this really a big time stream, and hope you guys are excited to tune in. Without further ado, let's jump right into this episode. This video is sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. At Underdog Fantasy, you can pick higher or lower on 2 or more players for your chance to win 20, 30, or even 1,000 times your money in a single night. The best part about Underdog Fantasy is it's available in 33 of the 50 states. So what are you waiting for? Use code PATCHDRIVE and get your first deposit matched up to $1,000 and join the millions of fans who have won on Underdog Fantasy. Make sure to download the app on the App Store or go to underdogfantasy.com. Okay, let's jump right into this mock draft, guys. Using PFF's mock draft simulator, this is a full 7-round mock draft. This is going to include trades if I feel like I want to trade up or down. It's not just going to be, hey, I'm going to trade up or down, because I want to, and, there's no value there or whatever. So we'll include there. And then, like I said, this is going to kind of be a mix of what I think will happen and what I want to happen. Now, again, PFF mock draft simulator, I can't control everything, and I think it is a little bit off based off of, obviously PFF's board and stuff, what will actually happen on draft night. So we'll see here. I'm going to turn the speed down real quick just so that if we do want to make a trade after. But for now, we're going to just roll to the 4th pick, see who's available. Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter, Mason Graham. Okay, this is what I think is pretty likely. Not Mason Graham, obviously, but having this be Cam Ward. Cam Ward's not really in the question for the Patriots. So if this is the scenario, first off, Will Campbell's the betting favorite right now, minus 1,000. He's probably the one that has gotten the most praise. The multiple people, Mike Vrabel included, Elliott Wolf, have said they view him as a tackle. The other one that's kind of shooting up there the last couple of days, I think Ashton Jeanty is definitely in the question here. The Patriots need a running back. I have Jeanty as the 3rd best prospect in this class. It might be too early for a running back, especially after paying Ramondre Stevenson. So that's why I'm a little hesitant. And then for me, I still have Patriots McMillan as a guy. I think that this is a dude that's 6'5". He is going to run in the high 4.4. So 4.48 was the reported time, anywhere between there and 4.53. I think he's a game changer. I think he would add something on the outside. It would be totally awesome to add a guy like Patriots McMillan. Some other guys that would be in play here, I think Tyler Warren is a great tight end, but I don't think that the Patriots want to take him here. And then Armand Membu is obviously the other tackle the Patriots and other teams have been really high on. If I'm going with what I think is going to happen and what I kind of want to happen, it's a battle because I want Patriots McMillan. I think it's Will Campbell. So I'm going to go with Will Campbell because I think that's the most likely option. And I think that it does help the Patriots instantly. They need a left tackle, I believe, to play him there until he fails. He's had tape. His arms are supposedly right at 33 based off of the false measurements at the combine and stuff. So I'm going to play him at tackle until he fails, and I have him as my number 1 ranked offensive lineman in this class. So I'm going to go with Will Campbell here. We're going to let this roll. I'm going to see what I'm going to pause this real quick and slow down just one more. I'm going to see what the trade values are. We already took a tackle, so it would have to be like a Matthew Golden falling into the 20s. I'm a real big Jaden Higgins fan, so maybe I would just stick and try to get him at 38, but we'll see what happens. We'll let this roll a little bit more. John Campbell, Will Johnson, Mike Green. So we're just looking for maybe one of Emeka Buka. See, so there goes Golden, so he's not a trade-up option. I like Josh Simmons. There goes Abuka. So right now, my thought process is probably sticking and picking at 38. Luther Burden would have been another one. Maybe if he falls to like 30 or 31, I would have traded up to. But with us already taking tackle, I don't know if it makes sense to try and trade up to get one. So hopefully right here, good. Exactly what I wanted. This pick right here will turn into more of a what I want, and I do think that Patriots would be interested in him. I think Jaden Higgins is going to be an outstanding NFL receiver. He's 6'4 1/8", 214 pounds. He ran a 4.47. He had a 39-inch vert and a 10'8" broad. This guy's an 1,100 plus yard receiver, 9 touchdowns. He moves the chains. He had the second most first down catches in college football, and he also had the 5th highest grade against man coverage. The dude's footwork off press at the line of scrimmage, in and out of breaks, is great for his size. And so, hey, they couldn't get T. Higgins. Well, let's just go with the next thing and get Jaden Higgins right here for the New England Patriots, a true X receiver on the outside. I believe he can be a game changer out there. Obviously, adding Stephon Diggs is kind of the Z guy. He'll be in there. And then you still have other guys, Demario Douglas, Pop Douglas, Kendrick Bourne, Jalen Polk if he pans out, Kayshon Boutte. But I think getting a bigger bodied receiver like Jaden Higgins would be ideal at 38. This would be a dream pick for me, honestly. So I'll pick him. Don't know what I would want to trade up for right here. I'm going to speed this up just a tad bit. Just, not looking for a trade up. I wish PFF would show the board when we pause. I wish you could pause before you make a trade and see the board, but you unfortunately can't. So, excuse me. Let it roll to 69. We have 2 third-round picks here. Okay. First thing I see right here, Olufemi Oladejo is another guy that I'm super high on. I really like him. I have him as my edge 9 right now. So if he were to fall here, I think he could be a very good prospect. He had 33 and 3/8 inch arms, 13 and a half TFLs this year. He was the Senior Bowl defensive player of the game. This dude looks like he was built in a lab. Super powerful hands to defeat blocks. He has a great use of his speed to power. This is another guy that played former linebacker. He shows that in the run game. He's physical in the run game. He takes on pullers, but also since him being a former linebacker, he's super quick. He knows how to get around blocks if he wants to make plays in the backfield. And he also doesn't have that much experience in the pass rush. So I would take this guy as more of a developmental guy for the Patriots. And I would say, hey, Olufemi Oladejo, this is an opportunity for you to sit behind a guy like, I don't want to say Keon White because he's not the best pass rusher. But obviously you have Harold Landry. You have other guys that you can let him sit behind, and he's not thrust into a role right away where he needs to start. I also like Jalen Royals here. Taking Jaden Higgins takes him out of the picture. Kyle Williams is a guy who's going to add great after the catch ability. Also, and then Trey Harris. I do like RJ Harvey, Mason Taylor too, but for me, I would take Olufemi Oladejo, shore up the defensive line a little bit more, and maybe draft a little bit for upside as a guy that's a little inexperienced. Let's talk about a couple guys that just went. I want to talk about. I like RJ Harvey too. I think that he could add a little bit of pass catching game out of the backfield, a little bit older running back, but I do think he can add value to any team. I do like that for the Bears. And then Jalen Knowles, another guy. I wouldn't take 2 back-to-back receivers, especially 2 Iowa State ones, but I do think if they pass on receiver in the first and second round, Jalen Knowles is a guy along with Kyle Williams and Jalen Royals, who went right after the Patriots, that they could look at. So here would make a ton of sense to go with Mason Taylor. Okay. Obviously we took a defensive guy, but to stay on the offensive train and get a tight end like Mason Taylor, I'm going to scroll down here. Terrence Ferguson, I would not consider taking over Mason Taylor. Marcus Mambeau is a little bit of an interesting guy. Played tackle at Purdue, but I believe he's best at interior. Could honestly be a center because of how athletic he is. That might be an option there. Ozzie Trapillo, you could always take as tackle depth because he has played right tackle, and Morgan Moses is getting a little bit older, so I do kind of like that idea of double dipping there. Jared Wilson's another guy that I like, true center, only played 1 year there, but super athletic also. And then Jonas Savanaia right there is a swing guy, played right tackle, played left tackle, played right guard. He has 34+ inch arms, so can do a bunch of things. So right here, looking at double dipping probably makes the most sense. I would love to take a guy like Mason Taylor. I just don't think that it's the biggest need. So the one that would make the most sense to me is probably Ozzie Trapillo, 6'8", 309 pounds. You can see he's played right and left tackle, mostly right. And this is a guy that Doug Marrone is very familiar with. So I'm going to double dip at tackle here, get a little bit of a backup plan for Morgan Moses at the right tackle spot, and take Ozzie Trapillo as another offensive lineman. So I'm just not going to make a trade anymore because, the picks are limited. This is what I wish I could have maybe explored a little bit, but not going to. I'm going to respect the board a little bit here. I think that Kyle Williams would be awesome, but I don't know if he makes it to the 4th round. PFF has him ranked at 65, but the ADP is 109. That's why he's fallen here. So I don't know if I'm going to take him there. One position I'm really looking at right now is running back or tight end. Okay, so I really like Trevor Etienne. He was just on a visit. I'm going to go look at what other running backs are on the board. Devin Neal, Jaden Blue, Trevor Etienne, Jarquez Hunter. Brashad Smith is an interesting one. They've said and they've been rumored to want to get another pass-catching running back to fill the James White role, obviously with Josh McDaniels back. Brashad Smith is a converted receiver who's played 1 year at SMU as a running back. He used to be at Miami, and he's really good out of the backfield, and he can honestly turn into something maybe like Antonio Gibson in the rushing game, but you don't need him to. So if you're going to go straight up pass catcher, Brashad Smith would be one. But Trevor Etienne's another guy. He has a name. His brother's in the NFL. He's been at Georgia, played in national championships. I believe he started his career at Florida. Yes, he did. He started at Florida. You can see 32 receptions on 33 targets. He's kind of a pass catching back, but when you do compare that to Brashad Smith, 40 run receptions on 51 targets, I get that they had Trevor Etienne in the building. I'm going to take Brashad Smith here. I think that he makes just a little bit more sense if you do want that true pass catching running back, just because he has that experience and he's done that. So I'm going to take Brashad Smith here. More of a, I don't want to say what I would do, but what I think makes more sense than just bringing in a true Trevor Etienne. And I don't know. I'm just not the biggest Trevor Etienne fan out there. So tight end would be another option here. I still think this is a very deep tight end class. I wouldn't take any of these guys. Mitchell Evans, more of a pass blocking or a run blocking guy. Same with Jackson Hauser's not like a true pass catcher here. So I don't know if I would take a pick on him. Maybe shoring up the defensive side would be something I would look at. You could take a Barrett Carter, really athletic linebacker. I'm seeing if there's any interior defensive lineman I would like to take here. Tyler Barron, Elijah Huzzy. That would make some Patriots fans happy with all the hype that's been going on around him with Patriots fans. Tonka Hemingway. Let me just click on the interior defensive line right here and see. Ty Robinson's a big body guy. I do think he is kind of a Mike Vrabel type player. I don't know if he would go in the 5th. He might. He might be the one that makes the most sense for me, honestly. Yeah, 6'6", 310. I'm going to go with Ty Robinson here. I think this is an interior defensive line guy that Mike Vrabel and our new DC would really like to have in there. Young guy, let him kind of be more of a run stopper with Milton Williams and Christian Barmore. And obviously it gives you a little bit more depth just in case there is an injury and there is lingering stuff with Christian Barmore's blood clots. Moving here, gosh, I would like to maybe take an interior offensive lineman. That's what I wanted to look for. Dylan Fairchild doesn't really impress me. Honestly, a center does kind of excite me. I don't know if Jake Majors is like a 4-year starter at Texas. He doesn't wow you athletically, so I don't know what his limitations would be. But Garrett Bradbury's not really here for the, future, kind of more of a short-term answer. Jonah Mohim is not the worst either. I mean, he played in 24, but he's played everywhere, so more of a swing guy. I'm gonna go with Jake Majors. Some might say that it's a reach, but I love his 4 years of experience at Texas. He's been a staple on that offensive line for teams that have been really good in the last couple of years. And getting a backup center, or someone that at least has experience snapping the ball to maybe learn behind Bradbury and potentially take over for, say, Jake Andrews or Cole Strange don't pan out at the center position. You have him there. Okay, couple more picks here. I'm trying to think. Smell Molden Jr. I actually really like as a linebacker also. He's been a decent processor for him, but you can see athletically he has it there. Don't really need a running back. Let's see what tight ends have now. I mean, looking pretty thin. Luke Leachy, Brant Keithy's a pass-catching guy. Yeah, let's see. Let's go back to I've taken 3 offensive linemen. I'll show you guys my picks here. Will Campbell, Jane Higgins, Olafemi Oladejo, Trujillo, another interior offensive line. I could double dip at receiver. A couple guys that excite me here. Andrew Armstrong is a guy that I like. He's another big body, so I don't know if he makes sense taking next to Jaden Higgins. Small school guy that I really like, being an FCS dude, Efton Chisholm, dominated the FCS, absolute stud. I mean, this is a typical slot receiver for the Patriots, what they like to do. Brew McCoy's a bigger guy. Joey Hobart's another smaller guy that just knows how to get open. I'm going to take a little small school guy, show some small school love. I'm going to take Efton Chisholm right here. Another guy that's on the slot that's just going to come in. He adds special teams value too. He can return. So I'll go there. And then the last position I want to look at is the linebacker spot. Obviously, you're looking at this position right here at 238 as a guy that's going to add special teams value. Also, would hope that he could be a starter, or well, you would want him to be a starter if he really pans out. But a guy that could add special teams value here. Not many guys standing out to me. Aaron Smith is a guy that I know a lot of people are high on. Sean Dolak is a special teams dude. He's a bigger bodied linebacker that started as a walk-on. Great story. Not loving anything there. What does safeties look like? Safeties. Shiloh. We take Shiloh. Maybe his number will be retired here shortly for Colorado too. Depth at corner, maybe. Tommy Hill. Jabbar Muhammad was once a guy for Oregon that I was high on, and he started at Washington. I thought maybe could be a first-round guy. Let's do that. Let's take a little. I know we just signed Carlton Davis, but I think you could add a little bit more depth there too. He could also be another special teams position there. So that's going to wrap up my first draft, or my final 7-round mock draft. You guys can see right here. I'll go through it again. Excuse me. At pick 4, Will Campbell. Might not be what everyone wants. I think it's the most likely scenario. The rumors of AJ Brown getting traded to the Patriots if Abdul Carter falls would be a dream. I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't know how likely it is. That would be awesome. But I think Will Campbell makes the most sense. I would start him at left tackle until he fails. Jaden Higgins is a guy that I would love for the Patriots to have. I think he could come off as early as the late first, maybe in the late 20s, and then even up to before the Patriots pick in the early second round. I'm a big fan of his size, his speed, his athleticism, his quickness. He doesn't drop the ball. So I think that would be an ideal pick for the Patriots there, and adding a weapon for Drake Maye. Olafemi Oladejo is another guy, off-ball linebacker that is converted to edge now. A little bit raw, but could develop more pass rush skills, and he's really good in the run, really quick, had 13.5 TFLs. A little bit of insurance for Morgan Moses if he gets hurt, because he seems to get hurt at least once a year, or if he just gets old and, he's not playing as good as he is. Ozzie Trapillo, a guy that's familiar with offensive line coach Doug Marrone. Rashad Smith, more of a pass-catching running back. I had the opportunity to take Trevor Etienne. I'm more of a Brashard Smith fan, just because his converted receiver background. He was a receiver at Miami, came to SMU, had a great year for them. Ty Robinson, a little bit of interior defensive line depth for the Patriots with the Christian Barmore injury and stuff like that. Jake Majors, a backup center. PFF gave me an F for that. You could consider that a little bit of a reach, but 4-year guy who's experienced, who has the knowledge of playing center for a big-time program. I think he just adds depth there in case Bradbury gets hurt and say Cole Strange or Jake Andrews aren't ready to go, but also could just be a rotational piece there. Efton Chisholm, small slot guy, super hard to cover, great in and out of his breaks, FCS school. I encourage you guys, if you haven't heard of him or haven't watched him, just go watch his highlights. You don't even have to watch his film. Just go watch his highlights. I get it's at a lower level and stuff, but he dominated at the FCS level and would be a fun slot receiver for the Patriots. And then Jabbar Muhammad, I talked about getting a linebacker there at that spot, but ended up going Jabbar Muhammad, just a little bit more outside corner depth, a guy that was really good at Washington for a couple of years, then transferred to Oregon this year. So that is going to be my final 7-round Patriots mock draft. We are officially a couple days away from the mock draft, or from the actual draft. So hopefully you guys are ready. Again, like this video, comment down below your thoughts on it, and then subscribe if you have not. We are going to be live for the draft. You guys can come in, hang out. Like I said, we have special graphics that we'll pull up for all this stuff. We've been preparing for about a month and a half now with all this stuff that we want to do. So we hope you guys join us for day 1 and day 2 of the actual 2025 NFL draft. But appreciate all the support, guys. And until next time, I will talk to you later.